Something is wrong with you right now. Not medically, not permanently, but right now, reading this, something in your chest just tightened. Something made you check the backseat of your car last night even though you knew nothing was there. Something makes you sit with your back pressed against the wall in restaurants so nothing can come up behind you. You didn't choose any of that. Your body chose it for you, and it chose it using a program written 200,000 years ago. Every single fear response firing in your nervous system right now was calibrated by something that tried to kill your ancestors. Not metaphorically, physically, repeatedly, successfully enough to leave a mark on your DNA. Even though most of those things haven't existed in your world for 10,000 years. Let's start with the dark. Not your preference for sleeping with the lights off. The actual, total, can't see your hand, something is breathing 3 feet away, dark. Before fire, nightfall wasn't uncomfortable. It was a death sentence with a flexible timeline. Leopards hunt almost exclusively at night. Their pupils dilate 6 times wider than yours. In conditions where you are completely blind, they see everything. And they don't just kill quickly. They carry their prey up a tree so nothing else can steal the body. We know this happened to your ancestors specifically, not because of legends or guesswork, because scientists cracked open 2 million-year-old skulls and found leopard fang puncture marks pressed into the bone at the exact spacing of leopard teeth. Your great-great-grandmother 10,000 generations back got dragged into a tree, and there was nothing she could do about it. So when the sun went down, your ancestor had 2 choices: stay near the fire, or become something's meal stored in a tree for later. This is why you check the backseat of your car at night. Not because you think something is there, because 200,000 years of people who didn't check didn't make it to morning. Your brain was handed a very specific instruction manual. Darkness equals something with better night vision than you is nearby. It has never been updated. You are running threat detection software from the Pleistocene era on a brain that is trying to fall asleep to a podcast. But here's the thing about leopards. At least you can see one coming. At least you can run. At least it has a face. The thing that genuinely broke ancient humans was something you couldn't see, couldn't fight, couldn't understand, and had no face at all. Researchers cracking open the bones of early Homo sapiens found something that stopped them cold. Infection so severe it had deformed the bone itself. Not the skin, not the organs, the bone. A small cut could kill you in a week. A bad piece of meat could wipe out everyone you knew before you understood what was happening. And your ancestors had no framework for understanding why. There was no such thing as bacteria in their mental model of the world. You didn't get sick because of microscopic organisms. You got sick because something invisible and angry decided to punish you. This is where a significant portion of early human religion comes from. Not comfort, terror management. The archaeological record shows that roughly 100,000 years ago, humans began burying their dead with offerings, food, tools, ochre pigment painted carefully onto the bones. Not as decoration, as a negotiation. We gave you the good stuff. Please don't come back. The fear of the dead returning is documented on every inhabited continent, independently. No contact between civilizations. Same conclusion everywhere. The Greeks placed coins on the eyes of the dead to pay the ferryman. The Norse buried them facing east. In Slavic cultures, they buried you face down. So if you tried to claw your way out, you'd only dig deeper. It wasn't superstition, it was a deal. We gave you everything. Stay down there. This was not primitive thinking. This was the most rational response available to people watching healthy individuals die for invisible reasons 3 days after they were fine. You couldn't see the infection that killed your brother, but you could see his body, and 3 days ago he was laughing. The fear of invisible creeping spreading death is the oldest fear in the human catalog, and it is still running in you right now. It's why you flinch when a stranger coughs directly into the air next to your face on a plane. It's why the image of rot and decay triggers a full-body disgust response before your conscious mind has time to evaluate it. It's why horror movies figured out very early that you don't need a monster. You just need something that looks slightly wrong in a way you can't immediately name. Your disgust response is a 200,000-year-old pathogen detector that has never been switched off. But here's the fear that researchers now believe shaped human psychology more deeply than leopards and invisible death combined. Each other. Out in the tall grass, the leopard is always waiting, but the tribe decides whether you face it alone. Modern humans say social rejection is painful, but you've felt it. That specific dropping feeling in your stomach when someone you needed approval from made it clear they weren't giving it. That's not emotional sensitivity. That's your body running a survival calculation. For your ancestors, being cast out of the group was not social awkwardness. It was dying alone in the dark. With the leopard, Homo sapiens survived not because we were the strongest or fastest. We survived because we cooperated at a scale no other species could match. A lone human in Africa 100,000 years ago was not an apex predator. It was a medium-sized, slow, nearly blind in the dark, very easy to catch meal. The group was everything: fire, food, someone watching while you slept. Being cast out didn't mean finding new friends. It meant the leopard won. Your brain has a built-in gauge that monitors how accepted you are by the people around you in real time. Scientists call it the sociometer. And when that needle drops, your body doesn't register embarrassment. It registers the same threat signal it fires when something with claws is nearby. The same cortisol, the same elevated heart rate, the same tunnel vision. Because for most of human history, those two things were the same event. This is why public speaking ranks above death in most fear surveys, which is objectively insane. Standing in front of people and talking has never killed anyone, but your brain registers every set of eyes in the room, locking onto you simultaneously. And for 200,000 years, that meant one of two things. The tribe was deciding whether you stayed, or something behind you was about to eat you. Neither was good. The embarrassing thing you said at a work event 4 years ago that still wakes you up at 3 a.m. and replays in full detail? That's your sociometer, still running the ancient calculation. Still trying to protect you from a tribe that stopped existing roughly 10,000 years ago. Now here is where the science reframes everything. Researchers studying the Hadza of Tanzania, one of the last groups on Earth living close to the original human lifestyle, found something that changes how you should think about your own anxiety. Their fears were not vague, not a general dread about the future, not lying awake worrying about things that might happen. They were specific, precise, encyclopedic. They knew which predators hunted at which hours of the night, which plants caused which symptoms at which dosage. They tracked the social dynamics of their group with an attention to detail that most modern humans never apply to anything. Fear for the Hadza was not a malfunction. It was the highest quality information available. The difference between a fear response that gets you killed and one that keeps you alive is not the presence of fear. It is the precision of it. Anthropologist Daniel Lieberman at Harvard has argued that the mismatch between the environment our fears were built for and the one we actually inhabit is one of the defining health crises of modern life. Not because fear is broken, but because it is working exactly as designed, in a world it was never designed for. Your body cannot distinguish between a threatening email and a leopard. It responds to both with elevated heart rate, shallow breathing, and cortisol flooding your bloodstream, which kept your ancestor alive when the threat had claws. It is somewhat less useful when the threat is a passive-aggressive reply-all from someone named Gerald. In 2005, neuroscientist Joseph Ledoux at New York University demonstrated that the amygdala processes threatening stimuli and fires a physical response before the conscious mind is even aware a threat was detected. Your hands start sweating before you know you're afraid. Your heart rate spikes before you've had time to ask whether the thing in front of you is actually dangerous. Before you can evaluate whether your boss's tone in that meeting is genuinely comparable to being stalked through tall grass by something that wants to eat you. The ancient system already fired. And it does this dozens of times every single day. For things that cannot eat you. For things that will not kill you, for things your ancestor would have looked at and said, I don't understand why you're sweating. That is not a leopard. The fears that built us were real. The darkness beyond the firelight killed people. The invisible sickness wiped out entire groups in days. Being cast out of the tribe meant dying alone before the week was out. Your ancestors lived inside those threats every single day for 200,000 years, and they survived. Which means you descended from the ones who were afraid enough. Afraid enough to stay near the fire instead of wandering into the dark. Afraid enough to put down the meat that smelled wrong even when they were hungry. Afraid enough to keep the group close, keep the peace, keep everyone together. Their fear kept them alive long enough to eventually, across hundreds of thousands of years, become you. So the next time your heart rate spikes over something that cannot logically hurt you, the next time you lie awake at 3 a.m., replaying a conversation from 6 days ago, looking for the moment you said the wrong thing. The next time a dark hallway makes your pace quicken slightly more than the situation requires. That's not anxiety. That's not weakness. That's not something to fix. That's 200,000 years of people who made the right call, showing up in your nervous system right on time,